Jason sent me a screen capture yesterday. I don't know Stacy, but this guy Bob is a pretty vile character. I myself blocked him a few years ago when he wouldn't stop claiming that black people were being hunted and murdered by police in the United States. But he's far from alone. It wasn't 10 minutes after they heard the news that many lefties still on my feed were more subtly expressing glee that the president and first lady have tested positive for COVID-19. Hey, we have jerks on both sides of the aisle. I saw quite a few so-called conservatives celebrating the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. None that said they hope she suffered, though. Let's not give subhumans like Bob and Stacy any more airtime. Let's look at what this diagnosis will do to the already chaotic political season. The first thing that went through my mind when I heard the news was this. Maybe they'll treat it with hydroxychloroquine and zinc, and the two of them won't miss a step. That would play hell with the closed until vaccine narrative, wouldn't it? Somebody reminded me that Trump has said he's already been taking HCQ just in case. But I'm assuming one could still test positive if they'd just been exposed, even if hydroxychloroquine and zinc were in their system. I think that drug cocktail just prevents the body from getting very sick, not from getting infected at the level a nasal swab could detect. Either way, if the two of them are asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic, the pro-shutdown left will have a hard time explaining why this old and inexpensive drug has been kept out of the hands of Americans. Whatever people think about the president, he is now patient number one. How he fares with this bug will greatly influence how all Americans think of what has been demanded of us for the last 6.5 months. Of course, some people will never let any evidence affect what they believe. My next thought was that this will give the Biden campaign their way out of the second debate. At the very least, even if the president remains healthy, it will force the next debate onto Zoom or Skype or whichever virtual platform works better. I wrote in July that I hoped for virtual debates. My thinking was that if it was just the president and Joe Biden in rooms with no audience, there would be nobody for either of them to play to. Of course, there wasn't many people at the debate we did have, but just the presence of anybody either friendly or hostile gets Mr. Trump's juices flowing. If he's got his own crowd there, we see Trump the showman, joking and having fun. With just Chris Wallace and Joe, both hostiles, we saw Trump the street fighter. If he was alone with just a few tech people and family members, we'd see a less aggravated and more relaxed man. He tried to be calm and substantive in the first debate, didn't he? But Wallace kept throwing stuff at him that would cause Dopey Joe to toss in an insulting comment from the side, and the president quickly became frustrated. This is unlikely to happen in a Zoom setting, particularly if the moderator has no axe to grind. Who should we draft for that job? Well, Joe Rogan, of course. Rogan has always said that he leans left, but I know for a fact that he gets the president in a way that only another alpha male who performs in front of crowds can. And he's offered to do it, so let's make that happen. Look, the mainstream media will have a field day with the news of the positive tests. Their tack all along has been that the president just didn't take the Wuhan cooties seriously enough. He has been holding rallies. He has been calling for the reopening of the country. But if I could speak for the blue-collar logic community, I'd say that of course he takes it seriously. He just doesn't take COVID-19 to be the only serious thing. President Trump also takes jobs seriously, family businesses seriously, the ability of people to interact and hang out together and generally behave like human beings. Personal freedom and responsibility. He takes all of that seriously. He takes fair and open elections seriously. He takes the relationships between children and their teachers seriously, and the relationships that have grown and flourished in the churches that dot this wonderful and damaged country. I admire Donald Trump for not seeing his own life as the most important thing. He could have headed for the bunker beneath the White House and communicated only through a sterile layer of technology. But he put himself out there, knowing full well that he himself is in the age category likely to have a tough time with the coronavirus. If he gets sick, he'll almost certainly get well. Of the less than 1% who got it and died, only a quarter of them were under 80. And what percentage of those had his unstoppable energy? But things can happen that we don't see coming. If, heaven forbid, he does succumb to this virus, I'm confident that he will not die cowering and ashamed the way Bob hopes he will. I'm confident that he would pass surrounded by his loved ones, with his greatest regret being that the Bobs and Stacys of the world have encountered so little resistance in their march to ruin America. But don't worry, he's not going anywhere. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel and then click the little bell to get notifications.